All right, guys, what's up? This is the week 11, I believe the week 11 recap video. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, week 11 recap video. I thought I was gonna be able to do one this weekend, or I thought I was gonna be able to do one this week, but had some time. So, also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving who celebrates Thanksgiving. And this week, just looking at a broad overview of the league, it's pretty low scoring. There's only three teams that scored above 79 points. My team at 79 points was the third, or was the, what was it? One, two, three. Yeah, I was the fourth leading scorer this week with basically 79 points, and I lost. Um, SNRA changed his name from, I think, AC's research getting an L to something against AK, so. Uh, I had Julio, and he was on a bye. That hurt me. Even if you add, if, just being generous, you add 20 points right here, and I had Julio right there, and he gave me 20 points. I still would have lost. SN's team played really well. Dez had a very big game. Best game by far of the season. Since he's traded for him, I believe these are two games that he's had him, and he's done extremely well. Um, yeah, Golden State did not do well for me. I'm very happy with the performances out of my two running backs. Those are who I thought were my two weakest points, and I get my two starting wide receivers back next week. So we'll see what happens. Just a little stuffed up, and he did well with. He started two tight ends, which was a little bold, but Ebron was a good pickup. I believe I don't know when he picked him up, but he might have picked him up on the waiver wire last week. And he started Delaney Walker also. David Johnson, does what he does. 28 points. So now we had Gunslinger, who's the second leading scorer, against Mon, who's who's the least scoring team in the league. Gunn had a great day with Brady and Bell. Let's see. Hopkins still not doing great. Probably the biggest bust that was not injury in the first round. I think it's pretty safe to say that. He started Martellus Bennett. I actually tried to pick him up. He didn't do that well. But I believe he's still the starter going into this upcoming week. Tim Hightower, with limited carries, getting the job done really for backup running back. That's a Mods team. He not good. Not a good year for him. Yeah, this is one of the lowest scoring games. So AK won with 75 points. I'm looking at I'm not really trash talk, but um, so I believe AK traded Michael Thomas to Mang for Carlos Hyde. And Carlos Hyde, he actually sat Carlos Hyde this week, and he had 11 points for him. Michael Thomas had 6 or 7. Um, just average all across the board for Bang. 71 points. That's what happens. No one really stood out. No one scored more than 10 points. That definitely hurt him. He benched. I mean, he benched Steve Smith. I wouldn't start him over maybe any of the guys he was starting. That's kind of close. Good news for Mang. I believe I don't actually. I'm not sure. I don't know who plays Amon again, but it's essentially a free win at this point because Amon had AJ Green out, or AJ Green's out for Amon, and I think Gronkowski's out this week as well. So, AK starred Jamison Crowder, who's been really really good the past whatever. What's that? What's that? 5 weeks now. Really consistent. I had him on my roster early on. I dropped him. Not good for me. Could definitely use Jamison Crowder this week, that's for sure. Now we have the quote unquote super team of the league. Mosen or Mo, sorry, I keep getting that wrong every week. Mo essentially eliminated Yates from playoff contention. Right now it says he's 4 games back. That's a first place. I don't know how many games out he's for a playoff spot, but this essentially eliminates Yates. I would believe. I'm not completely sure. Maybe he's not mathematically out, but he would essentially have to win his next 2 games and get a ton of help. We could take a quick look. Everyone just did well for Mo. Even Mike Evans didn't have that great of a day. Mike Evans hasn't been great since Mo traded for him. He's got a tough matchup against Seattle next week. I'm looking at this and it's crazy. I mean, Elliott and Evans is probably his best 2 players. Had average days, I would say, especially for Elliott. Um, and he still scored 123 or 132. So big performance was from the Vikings defense. So I would probably say Mo has the best team in the league right now. But obviously that doesn't mean anything once you get 2 weeks from now when it's just purely matchup based. Now we got George's team who also gets a deserving win because he lost all his games in the beginning when he was scoring over 100. Dre had a tough week. I believe his 2 running backs were out. Yeah, he had Melvin. Yeah, he had Melvin Gordon and Devonta Freeman out. Um, so if he started Kirk Cousins over Blake Bortles, I think he definitely would have won. That's all. That's obviously that's hindsight, but Bortles hasn't had that great of a year. Um, I believe he's actually on waivers now. I believe he's no longer on Dre's team. I would be mad like that too. I would have dropped him. Uh, George had 75. Of course, he scored 105 against my team last week, but um, Moncrief I was very very high on in the draft this year. I drafted him and he got hurt. Didn't have a spot for him, so I dropped him, and he came back and he's doing well for George's team. George's got a deep team, man. He had a fat Rob Kelly on the bench, 31 points. I mean, this George is a close number 2 to Mo. It might be 1A and 1B. Sorry, I'm still stuffed up. Standings. My team goes from the first team, I believe I was the first team, to now the 5th, and only 2 games ahead of a playoff spot. It's 3. Yeah, so my playoff position is still not, I guess you could say, still not solidified. Because if I lose the next 2, actually, it's pretty interesting. We can now do, since we are pretty far ahead, we can do almost like a what if scenario. So right now, I would be playing SN. I believe that's SN's team name, yeah. And AK would be playing Dre's team. Now Mo's in first and George's in second. So in the outside looking in, the defending champ Gunn would be the first one out, and Mang would be the second one out. So essentially, you can eliminate these 2 teams right here. I would say Yates and Amon. So looking at the standings, AK has the last playoff spot, and so essentially, Gunn and Mang have to win at least one. That's a given. They have to at least win one. If they could win out, so why don't we look ahead at the schedule coming up? Let's see. I'm kind of a little disorganized here, but let's see if we can look at the schedule. Just stick with me here. So we got 2 weeks left. I'm playing Dre this week. Mang is playing Gun. So this is basically the winner of this game has a good shot, and the loser of this game is essential. I don't want to say eliminated, but they'll be very tough. So this is essentially the game of the week right here: is Gun and Mang. The winner of this game can still be in playoff contention. And phone started. Yeah, nothing. What's up? Can I give you a call in like 2 minutes? All right, I'm just doing something. Sorry about that. I have limited time, so I'm not going to edit that out. Um, so we have this is the game of the week, and you got AK playing SN. That's a huge game for both teams, especially AK, because I think AK if he wins one, he's in very good position, and he needs to win this game. If he loses, it'd be interesting. If AK loses this week, and we can do that right now. We can do that right now. AK loses this week. It would be based on points. So AK is the second, the essentially other than Ahmad, he's the least scoring team in the league. Mang has him beat by what is that? 17 points. So essentially, what AK is hoping for if he loses is that Mang wins, because Gun beats him in points considerably. So the match between Gun and Mang is huge, and AK is rooting for a a Mang victory. Because if Mang wins and AK loses, they'll be tied at 6-6 for that last playoff spot. And if AK can somehow outscore Mang in a loss, so let's say AK scores 100, but SN's team scores like 115, he loses. And Mang wins, but he had another week where he scores like 75 and he wins. AK would then jump him in the point scoring and would still have the tiebreaker over Mang going into the last week. So AK is definitely rooting for a Mang victory for those two. I hope I could uh, I kind of portrayed the playoff scenario right there. And then obviously we have all these games between all these playoff teams. Let's see, league. Let's just do it by this. I like this league schedule thing. This really should have been using this more. Then you got Gun and Dre, or no. Then you got Mo and George, which is basically a battle of the first two teams. So one of those teams have to lose unless it's a tie. So big game. That means it's a big game between me and Dre because the winner of that game uh, could essentially vault themselves into a bye since one of these two teams basically has to lose unless it's a tie. Um, Also SN too. Every game, the last two teams of the league are playing each other, but honestly, this is what we wanted, right? I mean, second to last week, almost every game has major implications. This is probably the most balanced league one of the most balanced leagues I've ever been a part of, where essentially everyone has a chance going into the last week. So this is Wednesday, so everyone made their waiver claims, and like I said before, happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. If not, enjoy the 4-day weekend. Have a good day.